I think that's good, right?
I don't know. You do.
I know, but I've never filmed here before. Hey, everyone. Come here, Maple. Welcome back to my channel. Or welcome if this is your first time here. My vacuum looks so weird there. Today, I have the Yeechster, Yeech dog. What is
Those are nicknames I haven't heard in a minute.
This is Yeechu. She, how do I say this?
I'm her college roommate.
But like 3 out of 4 years, which I feel like is pretty rare.
It's also one of those things where I feel like you could be really good friends with someone, but you may not be good roommates.
Agreed. And like, sometimes like being roommates with somebody is like the test of
it dissolves friendships.
Yeah. So, Yeechu and I actually met. Should we start doing our makeup first?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically...
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Oh, sorry. This chair is, like, split.
Oh, that's okay.
Because, like, I screw the nail in too tight.
I just won't, like...
Gotta love DIY! Yeechu and I are about to get ready to go out and get dinner. Yeechu, by the way, I feel like people are like... she's visiting me in Vegas from Vancouver. She's a Canadian. See if you can spot her accent throughout this video. So, we're going to be doing our makeup, getting ready, and just kind of, like, chilling, but also... sharing some oh my god, you have that Marusi highlight?
Yeah, that's the only highlighter I brought. That's a lie. I brought three.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Anyway, that's what we're doing. So without further ado, if you want to see everything that we're going to be talking about, and just hang out. Maple, no.
Oh, I already started.
Oh, it's okay. I'm going to tell them to subscribe.
Oh, guys,
don't forget to please subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you know when I post. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. Yay!
You can also like the video or
I asked for them. I asked for that afterwards because I feel like they should watch the video. So if they like it.
But like if there's a particular point in the video that you want to comment on or that you particularly like, feel free to do so.
Yeah.
And hit that like button down there.
Here. Or here. Somewhere. But it's there.
Okay.
Let me just tell you, like, Yeechu, I pretty much owe the existence of my makeup collection and even, like, doing this in the first place to, like, Yeechu. Because, no, seriously.
Those are big words.
No, because, like, I'm going with the Milk makeup.
Oh, I used a Smashbox primerizer. Are we talking about that? I used it first.
How about we just, like, hold them up? I'm not
gonna go in with this. It's too bright. What is this? The Cover FX Water Cloud Primer. I bought this on an impulse. I don't really know what it does.
I'm using a Milk Hydro Primer. Ooh. So as I was saying, Yeechu was like the first person to really introduce me to the YouTube beauty world. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'll never forget the first time I saw her. Like, so sophomore year in college, we were blindly set up by a mutual friend. I forget which way it was. Like, you were looking for a roommate, or I was looking for a roommate, or like you were looking. Oh yeah, you were looking.
We had a 3 going on.
Yeah, and then you guys needed someone to fill, and I was like, oh, I'm down. So then, Yeechu and I, like, the way that apartment and a lot of the other college apartments were set up was that it would be 2 bedrooms, 2 people to a room, and you would pay like a stupid amount of money for that particular space. But basically, Yeechu and I, we like hit it off right away, blah, blah, blah. And then I wasn't super duper into makeup. Like, I liked makeup, I had stuff, but I didn't really know anything about it, so to speak, like sophomore year of college. And then I would just notice Yeechu would just sit, because our beds would be facing each other. So we'd be like in opposite corners of the room, and then we'd be facing each other. So one day...
Wow, a lot of things happened in that apartment.
Yeah. We can get into that later. But like, essentially, Yeechu was like... She always had her headphones on and then was just sitting upright on her bed on her computer.
Essentially, I was like not social.
But then
it was me, my laptop, and I.
True, yeah. Then I asked her one day, I was like, hey, what are you watching? Like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm watching Fleur. And I was like, who's Fleur? And she's like,
oh my god, Fleur. She's
yeah,
like a mom
so
now.
old school, right? Oh. Like, because this was 2014, so that's like 5... We met 5 years ago.
Dude, we're hella old now.
We're old.
Well, my dad's like, I'm gonna find you a husband.
That's
so,
true.
You know,
That's
we're
true.
at that age.
Yeah. I'm going in with the Urban Decay Born to Run palette that I just purchased, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm doing because I'm going to get distracted.
I went in with my MAC palette that I spent a lot of money on making myself. And then
These two pink
shades are from ColourPop because MAC doesn't make any pink.
That's why the
really
pants are like
exciting.
slightly like popping out.
They like just fit.
Yeah, so okay, so Yisha was like, I'm watching Fleur, and I was like, who's Fleur? And she's like, oh, she's this British beauty and lifestyle vlogger. I forget who else you were watching at the time, but that really like
It was like
stuck
Fleur,
out to me.
and then I also watched Amelia.
Oh yeah.
And Essie Button.
Oh my
like
god.
Estee Lauder.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I started watching the American ones, like the ones from LA, and the ones that like do the cut crease and like the lashes.
Yisha was watching these people, and I was just like, what are you watching? And then she started like telling me names, and then I don't remember exactly when or how I got into makeup or religiously watching beauty videos, but that was like my first introduction to the entire realm. Like from there on, like I discovered, I don't know if you were the one who taught me about like all the mainstream ones today, like Jaclyn Hill, Kathleen Lights, Tati, like Manny,
Oh my god,
Laura,
stuff from
like all those
2015.
people.
YouTube was so different.
Yeah, it was.
Everyone's face looked really different.
Yeah.
Like whatever other people do is like none of our business.
Yeah.
It's just different. Like you can't deny it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fine. Like everyone is entitled to do whatever they want to their faces, but like it doesn't change the fact at the end of the day it does look different now from how it did before. So it was just a really interesting space and like a really interesting time. And I just remember by my maybe not by my junior year, but by my senior year. So we went back to sharing a room because junior year we lived in a different apartment from the one in sophomore year with 2 different roommates, and we lived in the different rooms. But by senior year, we were back in the same room in that same apartment from junior year.
It's so confusing.
If that makes sense.
We found each other again.
Yeah, and that was like always the plan because like we like never had any like spats or anything. If anything, we were like the mediators. Yeah. We were like the mediators for our suite mates who often got into quibbles.
Shade.
It's true! It's true!
They're gonna watch this and be like, wow.
It's okay. We love you guys.
We love you guys.
But yeah, so by senior year, we were both full on sitting in our beds, like next to each other. And it was actually even funnier because we were like both like facing the same direction and just like on our computers with our headphones, both watching like beauty videos, oftentimes the same people at the same time.
And then we would like chat about it, and we would like go on Sephora trips together.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't like our entire friendship,
but it was like
but it's what pertains to this video.
Yeah, I think it was like our similar styles
Probably.
that really just kind of like it wasn't just so much so that we were both into makeup. It was we were both kind of into the YouTube space and what people were doing and like the different types of like eyeshadow and the new products.
Well, because it was so exciting at the time, like new media in general.
Yeah.
Just because like there were so many different people and they were all literally just doing it as a hobby, and that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even just makeup, it was like YouTube suddenly became such an important platform for people just to like form a community based off of pure like hobbies. And then the most interesting thing that was born from that is that people started making fucking bank.
Yeah. Regardless of your background, regardless of socioeconomic status, you know, like gender.
And I feel like YouTube was the first place where people started making serious money from like social media. Like from YouTube came Instagram, I feel.
I agree, because I feel like Instagram kind of took over as the it platform, if you will, like obviously in conjunction with YouTube. In my opinion, it goes, if you have YouTube, you definitely have Instagram as well to accompany that. Yeah. But not everybody who has Instagram also does YouTube. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like Instagram is its own beast now.
Yeah. Or Feed Me and Pour, or what is it? Help Me and Pour? From Bridesmaids?
As we're like...
We went to USC and we got in the churro.
But we got in our merit. Don't even... I think the thing is about, like, I think we recognize the privilege that we had, that our parents were able to afford our education. Like, I don't think we would ever deny that and say we got there based on...
we were so lucky.
We were so lucky.
Like lucky from the beginning.
For
like,
sure.
Lucky to be born
in
the way that we were.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think either of us take that for granted. So when I went to USC and I studied journalism and broadcast journalism at that, and curriculum literally entailed going out into the community and reporting on different beats around downtown Los Angeles and just getting to know people and interview people and see the businesses and report on them. Like, that was really a cool thing for me. Like, I would go to city council meetings with the mayor, or like, you know, every single week, and
super hands-on stuff.
Yeah, and just be able to get to know the community that way, which was awesome, and it just totally opened my eyes to so many different things beyond the scope that I had previously just associated like all of LA with. It was funny because Yichi and I, when she got here last night, we were talking about what do we want to film or talk about. We were like, we literally have so many fun story times, but also like weird things that happen. And because college is such a formative part of your life, it's truly the transition to full-blown adulthood. You know, when you feel like you kind of know what you're doing, but then you realize you don't know shit at all, but it's all a learning experience. Like Yichu and I literally, because freshman year I didn't do anything, like no boys, nothing. And then sophomore year was the first.
Year, I did a lot of things.
Yeah, Yichu was the opposite. Sophomore year she was more, well, I wouldn't say like super chill, but you were definitely more chill than you were freshman year.
Boyfriend.
When I got to sophomore year, that was like my first time I had ever, you know, gone to frat parties or had hookup experiences, and Yichu was like there with me.
She was a baby
through
guys.
like literally my transition from.
She's like, "What's that frat party?" And then she started going off on her own. This girl.
And then Yichu was like, "I don't want to go anymore." We had these two guys in sophomore year. I was truly just going in like uncharted territory, not knowing about like the politics of like having a hookup buddy or like dating boys or things like that. And so Yichu was there for me like when every single time like a mishap would happen. Good times, man. They shaped us into the people that we are today.
Yeah. For example,
I am a goal-oriented individual.
Same.
I like to set short-term goals for myself.
True, you do. There were times where like people would like hook up, like stay over at our roommates in sophomore year and then steal from them.
Oh my god, that was really scary. Like
Yeah.
this random guy was like one of our roommates had brought him back to like hook up with him.
And you know, it's not our business to question everything because like, you know, in college it's very normal for people like roommates to like bring guys back and stuff like that. And you're like,
I
okay,
know.
like this is what it is. Like,
So I literally thought that like it was like a friend, and I had seen him like probably on his way out after he stole the shit, but like I literally just didn't clock it. I thought that like they were friends. But isn't that so scary? It's like you look back after being somewhat like of an adult, and then you're like, wow, we like allowed sketchy things to happen.
but how would we have known?
But it's just like looking back, it's like now when you see like a random stranger anywhere, you're just kind of like, or
But
in
I feel
your
like
home,
the
you're
context was different because in college, you know, you see a guy walk out of her room at 3 a.m. Like
you don't
that's,
fucking question.
Right. Like that's pretty commonplace, you know, in a scenario like that. I feel like nowadays, if you take that out of the context, definitely it's sketchy. But for all we knew, he was just a guy that she had hooked up with.
For all we knew, they were like dating.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. And because he was like our age, he was holding like a computer, little.
Maybe they had like a late night study session.
We like came to find out that it's like wasn't his computer that he was holding and
Yeah,
taking.
that was our roommates.
Oh my.
It's like in
Yeah.
the moment though, like
Yeah.
fuckboy actions honestly seemed like the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like they seem like, oh my god,
Yeah.
how can he do this?
Yeah.
But then you look back and then you're like, oh, I don't even remember your name.
Right. Exactly. I'm going in with the IT Cosmetics Confident Foundation and my beauty blender. Just the different memories that were made throughout all that. Like we were just talking today, like we used to go to Koreatown all the time and study at this one particular cafe and get this one particular dish, this kimchi fried rice.
Called Clat.
Yeah, with like iced matcha green tea, and then like we would go and just study, and Nietzsche was like, you know, like we're never gonna have that again. Like we're never gonna be studying for finals again, or
Time is something that just never comes back.
Yeah, it truly, yeah. And I think in a way, like that's really great in some aspects, but also like it's kind of sad because I always like, I don't know if I've told you this, but I frequently get nostalgic for like 2017, like that year.
Specifically?
Yeah. 26. I think because it was like the glory moment of like
we
graduating and like me starting a new chapter.
2017
like,
was like a really up and down year for me though.
Agreed. I'm going with this new Smashbox concealer that I purchased today. What would you say like your favorite year of like college was though?
Probably junior year.
Junior year?
For me, junior year was like the most stable,
Yeah.
which I like.
Yeah.
Like there were no major changes.
Right.
Because it was like that in between year. But
like,
you know what I really like about us?
What?
We don't need to be like constantly 24/7. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
How's
agreed.
Life? How's life?
Agreed. May 2017 we graduated. before this time, we saw each other in November 2018, so it had been, like, a solid year and a half, literally. And, like, every time we see each other, like, even now, it was, like, 6 months from then, it's just, like, we always, like, pick up where we leave off. And it's, like, normal, it's, like, completely fine.
It's just chill, there's no, like, adjustment.
Yeah. And
because we're chill people.
Yeah. Talk about the personality type thing and how it may be a factor.
I actually don't even remember exactly what I told you. But, like, I don't know, I just feel like naturally people have, like, a power level, if that makes sense. Like alphas and betas, kind of. Yeah. Like, there are people who...
And one is not better than the other. It's just like...
No, one's not better than the other. Both have, like, pros and cons. Both have, like, their merits and their shortcomings.
For sure.
But I feel like there are certain people who are very not afraid to dive headfirst into situations, or, like, to take point lead on certain situations, and people who, like, lead from being in front of others. Does that make sense? Like, people who are like, hey, like, this is the plan, or, like, hey, let's go do this, or whatever. Yeah. And, like, I feel like you're definitely very much that type. Like, you're super unapologetic about who you are, and, like, when you want to go do things or when you don't want to go do things. Yeah. And, like...
But I also like to be accommodating of...
Yeah, but it's, like, when you're accommodating, like, that's very explicit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. And then, like, from the beginning, it was, like, very clear, like, our dynamic was very different. Like, I am definitely somebody who's, like, very comfortable just, like, following others' leads. Like...
Yeah. But like, not in, like, a completely passive, like, I'll let you step all over me kind of way.
Yeah, not in a passive way, but it's also just, like, hey, like, if what you're saying is, like, fine with me, then, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, like, I have to be the one that says this. Yeah. Like, I'm chill letting other people pull shit. You know what I mean? Right. And I don't think that's all. I also feel like that's not to say that, like, I don't lead. I just have, like, a very different style of leading. Like, I'm not the person that's, like, guys, like... I'm gonna be leading in front. Like, I like to support in that way. Yeah. But, like, just in a very general level, like, I feel like when people are together, there's, like, a certain amount of finite space, and then certain people encompass more in a different kind of way.
Like, even planning You Choose Travel here, she was like, is this fine to you? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. She was like, is this fine to you? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like,
but also, like, she planned everything that we were gonna do, and it's like, that's fine with me, because...
Yeah. But I also asked you, I was like, hey, what do you want to do this or like this? And, like, you were like, definitely, we're like, I want to go to, like, Ulta because there's no Ulta here, you know? And then I was like, let's go to Dry Bar. Are you down? And you're like, yeah, I'm down. You two became, like, progressively more introverted as time went on. Like, she was like, I'm not down to go out, like, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of lost, like, my safety net sometimes because she'd be like, okay, like, you guys... go out, you do this, like, whatever. But then what was always really nice was that she would still be up, like, by the time I got home. So if shit went south, like, I could just, like, talk to her about it. Like, did you feel like you had an experience, like, during those 4 years where you were, like, it was, like, an epiphany, if you will, or, like, life-changing? Or a moment where you were, like, damn, like, shit.
Probably a lot. I just can't remember right now.
Well, thanks. That's helpful.
I'm sorry. I mean, like, I definitely, the whole me becoming introverted was actually a really big deal for me because, like, I feel like all the way up until sophomore year, I always thought of myself as somebody who was, like, so extroverted and, like, I loved people. And it's, like, I still love people. But I just slowly became to, like, be so much more selective about the people that I spent my time with. Yeah. And the way that I spent my time. And it was just, like slowly but surely I became more able to just allow myself to say no to, like, invitations or to, like, attending things or, like, hanging out with people or not feeling guilty about it. And I, like, that has only continued.
I think that would probably be one of my big takeaways too from school is also because at USC Greek culture was so shoved down everybody's throats. And Ichi partook in it for, like, a minute, but then dropped because she was like, this is not who I am. This is not what I want. And, you know, like, I partook in, like, the rush process, but I didn't join or, what do you call it? Sign? Bid day? Pledge? I don't even know what the word is, but I think
it's pledge. I don't remember either.
I know for boys for sure it's pledge. I don't know if it's for girls. Probably the same. I had a lot of friends who were in it just because when you're in a school like that, it's kind of inevitable to know and become... you know, friends with those who are. And there's nothing against that, but for a while, I felt like freshman year, sophomore year especially, I was just kind of, like, not lost, but just still trying to navigate the world of college, and, you know, I kind of felt like to a certain extent having so much extensive Greek life with, you know, people and their labels, it made me almost judge them first based on what house they were in, if you will. And I didn't want anybody to do that to me. Like, I didn't want to say, oh, I'm in such and such house, and people automatically form an opinion, because that's what people do. Like, that's just the environment, you know, like, naturally. And so I didn't want that to be how people viewed me, you know. I just wanted to be, I'm Ashley, this is who I am, like, as you said, kind of like unapologetic, but also just kind of like,
is who you are.
Yeah, no, it is. And, like, you know, I respected it, but I was kind of lost for a while, because I was just like, I felt like we were kind of still in high school. Like, I felt like college was a place
that you were supposed to step out of it.
Right, you were supposed to find yourself and be yourself in your most organic form, with, like, no high school politics. College has, like, thousands of people, no one gives a fuck because everyone's studying different things, you know, like, your friends form naturally. And so with such extensive Greek life at USC, I was just kind of, like, thrown off for a minute. But then, you know, it wasn't until I met, like, you know, like, Yichu and, like, other people. Well, I had met Yichu already, but, like, really just kind of, I don't know, came into myself and,
like,
and
your
know.
people.
I would say sophomore year was probably the most formative year of college, because, again, that was the year where I started to, like, try go to parties and started to, you know, like, date guys and venture out in that way. But it was definitely the year where I learned the most, like, how to deal with these stupid situations and things that I would never do now that I did back then. But those were necessary mistakes, I feel, that I made. I don't even know if I would call them mistakes. I would call them, like, literally learning lessons. Junior year was definitely a lot more calm for me. I feel like out of all the years, that was the least volatile, if I can remember correctly. And then senior year was just kind of like, Yisha and I were both in relationships and things like that, and we were like, we're kind of like the big kids now. Like, Yichu moved away from her home to, like, go to school, and now, like, it's kind of vice versa. Like, I moved away from home after school, and she moved back home after school. So, like, I think that's, like, super interesting too.
Yeah.
Just, like, not knowing and, like, making decisions. Like, me moving here was, like, a last minute thing that I knew that I wanted to do, because I just wanted to get away from home, because I had gone to school near home, you know, like, I didn't have the experience of just being away and not seeing my parents.
Similarly, me moving home was also unexpected.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just don't plan for shit, and then whatever's meant to be just is, and it's like that. If everything falls in a place, regardless of whether or not you see the purpose behind it. But I feel like you just kind of have to, like, trust the process and know that, like, it's gonna be okay. I don't know.
I totally believe in that, but I would even go as far as to say it's, like, it's not trusting the process, but it's more so trusting in yourself, and trusting that, like, you have all of the tools and all of the resources, and you have it deep within your potential to get yourself through anything.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
Like,
sure.
we're all set up to be able to be successful and accomplish whatever we need to accomplish,
right,
and get through things.
Right.
Like, as long as you have that faith, like, nothing can really wear you down. At the end of the day, like, you're the only person that you have, but, like, you're enough.
Agreed.
And, like, you being enough is such a concept that, like, has recently been introduced to me, but I feel like it's actually so strong. It's not like, oh my god, you're so great, or it's like, oh my god, like, you're so smart, or you're so pretty, or whatever, but it's
right,
like, just knowing
it
that
goes beyond that.
Yeah.
Back to, like, the basics of just being, like, you're you know?
It's not like whatever quality you have is so great or so whatever, you know? Or it's like whatever action. It's like you in and of yourself, individually.
Because of, like, you being that.
Yeah, like, your existence.
Yeah, for sure.
Your own person is, like, enough. And I feel like we should all say that more often instead of, like...
I have that quote.
But like, instead of giving people random compliments, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, compliments are great, but, like...
They're so superficial these days.
But it's kind of like, then are you just, like, a sum of all your compliments, or, like, a sum of all your traits that people talk about?
Yeah.
What if, like, different people talk about different traits?
Agreed.
Or different people, like, have conflicting opinions about a certain trait?
I agree.
Like, how do you find yourself then?
So I guess with that being said, I want to know, like, how you think I've grown the most or changed the most, like, over the course of, like, those 4 years in college, and, like, I want to say, like, I feel like you've developed as a character too.
Yeah.
like over those 4 or 3 years?
I feel like in the beginning when I first met you, you were like kind of unsure of yourself.
Yeah.
In a way where it was like you overthought things a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because like you just weren't sure. Like you had never been faced with like certain situations.
Adversities. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you just like tended to like really, really overthink things.
Yeah.
And then you would get yourself into like a little fussy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I feel like you've really mellowed out in the sense where it's like you focus way less on like the embellishments and the bells and whistles.
Agreed.
Like you still think, but it's about more important things almost.
Yeah.
And it's like those things that like really concerned you before, you're kind of like, that's like their life, or it's like that doesn't really concern, like it doesn't affect me, so like I don't think about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like before you couldn't stop yourself from doing that.
Yeah.
And I feel
I was
like,
just like so green to the territory.
yeah, and I feel like that
expect.
stemmed from a place of like you not knowing who you were, which is I think like a really broad statement.
Yeah.
That can be applicable to anybody of any age, because it's like as you grow you get to know yourself more, but
yeah, for sure.
like when that symptom was like you overthinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
for
you would
sure.
just honestly like take yourself on such a tangent, and it was like,
I remember these conversations we had,
Yeah.
specifically sophomore year.
Yeah.
You know, when I was first getting introduced
yeah,
to...
like you were just like, I don't know what to think, the possibilities are endless, I'm gonna think of all the thoughts.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
And you're just kind of telling me, like, you don't need to, like,
Yeah,
just
like-
let it, like, happen.
but yeah, in that way, like I'm really proud of yourself, or I'm proud of you. I'm really, in that way,
Thank
I'm like
you.
really proud of you for being able to like step outside of that and gain the perspective that you have,
Yeah.
and just be able to be like, no, like, is this pertinent to my development as a person?
There were definitely times, especially, I remember in sophomore year and junior year, like, I was really introspective, and I was, like, journaling a lot, and, like, listening to a lot of, like, moody music, and writing my feelings, and doing a lot of yoga. Like, I was heavily practicing yoga, and all that mantra and kind of stuff, and just during the times I felt the most lost, not, like, lost in the world, but, like, lost kind of, like, this boy shouldn't define me as a person, or like my worth and things like that. It
Yeah.
wasn't super extreme, but it definitely got to the point sometimes where I just kind of like lost faith in my ability to like persevere through that situation, and
Yeah.
consequently, and other things, like other adversities that may have stemmed from that one situation.
Yeah, it's almost as
Yeah.
if it's like you came into school super sure of who you were, but then all of a sudden, like, you lost that. Like, you lost where you had tethered your
Yeah.
identity.
Yeah.
And then
For
you were
sure.
like, how do all of these factors affect who I am?
Yeah.
And now you're just like, they don't.
It's so crazy that you say that, because like thinking about it in hindsight, like thinking about the timeline of like when I was really into like yoga and journaling and all that stuff, like now that I can put it in perspective, because it was in the past, that was all attributed to that period of when things happened to me with like boys or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
that I consequently took and reacted to and didn't know what to do. And I guess my form of trying to find myself again, or that kind of therapy, was, you know, like journaling and yoga, and like always like, you know, like my guitar and like music and things like that. Like,
Yeah, like actually practicing actions that lead to introspection.
Yeah.
Instead of just like thinking, it's like taking an action on it.
for sure.
I also feel like it wasn't just boys, it was also like the people that we were meeting,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And then it's like Greek life and stuff like
And
that.
also when I like failed accounting.
Yeah. Like just
And I took a
life
W.
in general not going the way that you had planned for it to.
Right. I would say for you too, like, it's not so much the opposite, but I would say like your journey was truly like a progression of just like the up and up. You know, like
Oh my god, thanks.
it was like sophomore year, you kind of were still into like the whole thing, but then you grew to realize like this is not what I need, like I got tired of the scene, like this is not necessarily like fulfilling to me anymore.
Yeah.
And you developed like your own set of rules and conduct, and you didn't care that like you were just doing things that weren't what everyone else was doing, like in terms of, you know, what you would do like on your weekends, or just like things like that. Like it's ironic because like even though you are type B and you're like, okay, you're generally down and like you follow, so to speak, like you were also at the same time extremely comfortable not following like what everyone else was doing, which I think is like the coolest thing ever.
in general, I
Yeah.
would say I'm just comfortable.
Yeah, like
I only do things I'm comfortable with, which is kind of odd.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I thought that was really cool.
Thanks.
And I think
That actually means a lot to me because I feel like for a while there, I was definitely very much like, oh, what should I be doing?
And,
like, what are other people doing? Like, should I be doing that too? It was a mess freshman year.
Yeah. So I've been told from her, the source itself.
Oh, I was a fucking mess.
Yeah,
it was,
but that was
not good.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was really interesting, like, just in general, how we behaved, how we acted, you know, like things like that. So, I don't know. I thought for a minute there, I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but
I mean, I still don't.
But I will say, like, Yichu and I would have, like, so many deep conversations, like, that even, like, last time when she got here, we were going from talking about, like, random shit to very serious, deep stuff, and just going on and on. Like, we had so many deep conversations.
Yeah.
That stemmed from nowhere, just, like, casually talking, but it always turns into something philosophical and more than just, like, the surface of what the prior subject was. Like, I thought that was, like, really freaking cool, and, like, we did it, like, pretty much almost every day. Whether it was, like, an issue that we were having or, you know.
Yeah. It's also one of those things where it's, like, I can so appreciate that we're able to even get there.
Yeah, definitely.
Because with so many people, you can't, not to say that, like, other people can't get to that level, but it's, like, you need to speak almost a certain language.
Yeah.
Like, a certain frequency.
You're right.
With the other person to be able to get there.
You know, it started from there, and then it just went on into something else, but it was always a natural progression. Like, it never felt forced. I feel like I'm going to set my face and then go in with my lipstick.
I feel like the difference is literally astounding. Do you know those viral videos of those Asian,
You're my fan.
like, I don't know if it's like Taiwanese girls on this show where like they take off half their face of makeup, so you see like the half without the makeup, and then on the other half is like their full beat, and they literally will stack like 4 pairs of lashes. Like, they'll stack like 4 pairs of lashes and like wear these circle lenses and all these, like, it's a completely different look.
Wait, like Nikki Tutorial's Power of Makeup kind of thing?
No, like, more than that. It was, like, supposed to be really astounding.
Ashley, you're so unprepared for your video. You keep leaving the frame.
Don't worry, I'll cut it all out. I have a lot of, like, fun, like, final step body touches.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times it'll involve, if I remember, the Naked Skin Body Beauty Balm from Urban Decay, and then spraying a little bit of Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist, just like on my body, because I'm oily, so I would never do it on my face. But it's nice to do on the body. It's just like really liquidy though.
That's so expensive.
I got
For
it
your
in
body.
No, I got it in a little Tatcha travel set, because it's a small one. So I don't have to feel as bad. I guess we're gonna wait till Yichu finishes. Or should we sign off now? Okay, so Yichu finally fixed her lashes, did her lips,
on, my
came
lip is
back,
on.
did her hair. We threw on our outfits, well,
Put
our
on a
pants.
bra.
And and yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, getting ready, listening to us ramble about our college times and all that fun stuff.
You know,
So,
we're so wise.
I feel like we kind of are, really.
But I mean, hopefully you at least found it entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it
So-
was like a good waste of your time.
Yeah. Or if you're going into college, this could perhaps be a little something for you. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. That's why I say afterwards, because like,
Okay.
don't feel obligated. Like, only if you actually liked
Don't forget to hit the thumbs
it.
up button. Don't forget to leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more of this gem.
Anyway, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!